Isn't that interesting? I'm gonna see what Bombie's doing over there, and I'm gonna react because she rides alone, and it's hard to get up there. I've never been on a panel with her because she rides alone, but I'm gonna see how she's handling. She's doing a damn good job over there, so I'm gonna rebroadcast over here. So let's see what's going on. There she be live. Pulling $378.
$3,400.
I want to talk with her.
When did you give me $3,400?
I want to see what's going on. She don't care.
When?
Unless she's in the middle of bickering about something that I don't know anything about.
I've got JJJ and Savage about to get struck at the very least. Per YouTube here in my hometown, their channels qualify as ongoing harassment. That would be fabulous.
It is ongoing harassment. These are things that you couldn't get away with publicly. Like if they saw Bobby out publicly, they couldn't go up to her and say the shit they say behind these screens. She's absolutely right.
Kimmy is on that special level. Yeah. We know.
They do that.
Alright.
I get more behind the scenes stuff, Anita. People email me stuff.
So when was the
become
$3,400?
targets.
I'm confused. Didn't I show what she actually gave me? Have I not shown that yet?
Now she's arguing about something I have absolutely nothing to do with. So, but I want to. She's been pulling out no strings.
I thought I showed that.
Vinny and Jenny and them over there.
Did I not? We'll see.
They fuck with her so hard. Nobody. They have people bouncing back and forth over to Bombie's channel. Yeah, she rides alone. You don't catch her up there with like 5 other people fucking with somebody.
I guess maybe I did. Oh shit. Let me do that real fast. Step on me. Step on me. You unstuck hoe. Alright, here we go. Here we go.
I'm just checking.
One more time for the ones at the back of the choir.
I want to see what she's up to. She really don't
care. Well, I even
care.
have to continue to do this shit. It's beyond me, but it's whatever. I'm here for it. Love it.
It's because look, they sit and they lie and they lie and they lie and they lie.
Always.
And they lie so easily that you just put up the proof. They want that reaction.
Dang.
Her field of fucks is barren, that's for sure. I'm just waiting to see what she's in the middle of. Yet last night her live was just one after another. When history comes to kick somebody right in the teeth. There's nothing worse than somebody pretending to be the moral authority when they ain't got no morals at all. I don't pretend to be no moral authority. And I got some morals, man. Well, I don't know what she's in the middle of there.
I'm going to hell for that.
She really don't. Let me see here. I'll stop sharing that one. She's into something I don't know much about. What was that? What'd they say? That's about all it is anymore is Jenny and them picking up people. You notice how Laura don't bother with them anymore. They keep coming up with bullshit lies.
Hold on 1 minute, y'all. I gotta upload this.
Let's see.
Okay. Anyway, $3,400. What she said she loaned me. She loaned it to me.
Something about
Do y'all ever teach
3,400.
y'all's mamas with those mouths? I'm just curious. Oh, somebody sent this to me. How cute is this, y'all?
No, she's not in the middle of a rant right now.
Here's my artwork, bitch. Scabbage Pale Kids. Angry Amanda. You so mad, girl. You always so mad. Alright, here we go.
Well, she played that clip last night of Pirate screaming at Vinny. I had never heard
You
that
came in,
before.
didn't
I've been
know
around
the
for a
fuck
long
you
time.
were. Alright? Didn't know who you were. This is what you sent on June 17th.
And I've heard just about everything.
Okay. July 1st, $50. July 13th, $20. Payment, July 14th. Okay. Didn't do his shit with the lawyer, $300. Alright. I gave you back your little $20 there. Alright. So where is this is it right here. Literally. So that's 800, 900, 1,050. That turned into $3,400 fucking dollars, ma'am.
I have people give you money and they get mad or use it against you.
How does that turn into that? Make me understand it, man.
Oh yeah, I had it once with Pirate, and I had it once with the Savage too, and all she did was. So that's what I started doing back at her. I started going. And that's all it is. I mean, they just want to scream over you like they're going to do something. They get themselves that upset on the other side of the screen. Who is winning? You know, for real. I think I'll jump out of this and see what Deadbug says is doing over there.
And tell him that's a whole entire lie. Hey, what's up?
A whole ass lie.
They might. They might be.
Oh, no, he ain't got nothing new going on here. Let's see. I emailed Deadbug and asked him to do Scully, and I've been one of his longest subs since he had like 100 subs, and I mailed him, and he just said sure thing. So he goes deep into some of these, especially pedophiles. But I asked him, you know, hey, do Peter Scully, right? Let's see. He does series. Let's have a watch.
Uncertainty, fear, guilt. These are just a few of the things a parent wakes up feeling every single day their child is missing. The emotional pain of the absence of that child, uncertainty and fear about that child's fate, and the guilt about not protecting the child from that fate. Lock up Johnny Jr., because we're about to take a trip into the pedo files. There is an act that is so vile, so depraved, that it virtually goes beyond description. Lurking in the dark, musty shadows, so sick, so unimaginable, that no one wants to say its name. But when it rears its ugly head, it is allocated to the pedo files. Tonight's episode, the Pedo Social Club. Meet the Boxels. Yeah, I know. It got pretty dark pretty quickly. I apologize for that. I guess the Boxels were like any other middle-class family in the late 1980s. Yeah, sure, they had the ups. They had the downs as well. But overall, they were close. Peter Boxel described his son as a good kid, although a bit naive, always listening to the radio, trying to win one contest or another. But his true passion was football. And by all accounts, he was fanatical. And Lee's favorite local team was Sutton, attending every match he could. And as for school, although his attendance was regular, his teachers would tell you that he was average. Lee had a close, tight group of friends, and he had a crush on the girl who lived down the road, regularly offering to walk the family dog as an excuse to talk to her. By Lee's parents' own account, he woke up late Saturday morning. An interaction was brief, with the father having to go out and run some errands. His mother had to take care of her sick mother. His younger sister was going to stay at a friend's. Lee told his parents he was going into town to hang out with his best friend, and then he might go see a football match afterwards. Once in town, they hung out together till about 1. And then they parted ways with Lee, saying that he was going to go watch a football match. And after that, Lee Boxel disappeared like a goddamn ghost. A football-loving English teenage ghost. When Lee didn't come home that night for dinner, Peter and Christine Boxel were scared. There's one thing they knew their son was dependable. And when they phoned the fish and chip-eating cops, the cops told them not to worry. He'd be back soon. After all, Lee was a teenager, and he was most likely out there somewhere in a park with his face in between some teenage girl's legs, enjoying the nectar of youth. But the parents knew Lee Boy better than that, and they waited up all night with the front light on. But their son never returned. And the next day, cops were called in, and they started looking.
You've seen Lee, saw him around, or know of his whereabouts, if they could contact the police. Obviously, everything will be dealt with in the strictest confidence. I mean, that goes without saying. So if there's somebody out there who knows where Lee is, please make a call.
Lee's last confirmed sighting was walking by a supermarket at around 2:30 in town. That was the last time he was ever seen again, which confirmed he wouldn't have been able to make it to any football matches, and days became weeks, and weeks became months, months years. But the parents still held up hope that their son would return, leaving his room the exact way it was when he'd left it. Cops brought in experts to check out every single video frame on CCTV cameras in London and the surrounding areas. But still, they found nothing. How could someone vanish? Now you see him. Now you don't. Experts were baffled how he managed to avoid every camera in the city. It's not that it wasn't possible, but it was one of those things you couldn't manage it if you'd planned it. Now, without a clue, the cops had to admit the case was cold.
You done?
There had long been discussions in police headquarters canteens about gangs of pedophiles who held parties in derelict buildings and dark places, later disregarding their guests into shallow graves. And Roy Tuttle was one of those names who regularly popped up in those conversations. Schoolboy Tuttle had disappeared almost 20 years earlier. Less than 4 miles away from where Lee Boxall had last been seen. Skipping the bus to save money, making an ill-advised decision to hitchhike. And he paid for it, more than a bike would have cost. And although cops were inundated by stories from rent boys and faggot snitches about parties and mansions where kids were on the menu, Superior said it was a waste of resources. But when Tuttle's body turned up 3 days later in front of a mansion, it certainly got some people talking. But Tuttle wasn't the first to go missing. He was just one of the only ones to be found. And no matter how many times superiors tried to squash it, rumors kept popping up of sex parties held by the elite, where ass pussy was the caveat. But it was in 2001, with the advancements in DNA technology, that they ran some jizz that they pulled out of Roy Tuttle through the jizz detector. And surprise, surprise, it belonged to a former 65-year-old laborer.
Now that boy was a Kingston grammar school boy, and he went missing on his way home from school in April of 1968. Having got off the bus on his way home from school, and was never seen again until his body was recovered, found by some forestry workers on the Friday, which is 26. Yeah. So that's the day the boy went missing, and the boy's name was Roy Lindsay Tuttle, Tuttill, T-U-T-I-L-L. Have you ever heard that name?
No.
Okay. Did you ever give any schoolboys a lift in your car at all?
No.
Lunfield had served time in the 80s for abducting and raping 2 other schoolboys in the same area that Lee Boxall had gone missing, and was released only a month before Lee disappeared. And although he denied his murder, he came clean on Tuttle's.
So misled you all the time. I didn't, been to prison. I've let it go to life.
But it seemed the more investigators learned from Lunfield, the less they knew. Lunfield told them, yeah, sure, there were pedophile gangs in the area, and he knew of them. But they were way above his pay grade. He'd only been a laborer, and if there were those kind of parties going on, and he wasn't saying there were, if there were, he wasn't invited to them. And he told cops he'd never heard of Lee Boxall, not even on the 6 o'clock news, and that he just wanted to go to his cell and get some sleep. But it would be 9 years later that a snitch would walk into that exact same police station and blow the case wide open. It was in 2012 that investigators busted a scumbag who was a purveyor of child porn. A small-time operator running a backroom DVD rental shop for those with a certain proclivity. But nevertheless, he'd already been busted and done time for sodomy on a minor. So if the charge made it to court, this time he'd need to be packing more than an overnight bag. So he wanted to know if cops wanted to cut a deal. It was then that he told them of a club. A youth club, unofficial of course, called The Shed. It was in a shed behind the church, and it was in this social club that underage kids were plied with drink and drugs, and then they were given the business by a clientele of sleazebags, invitation only of course, for sex parties. And although he'd never attended these parties, he'd witnessed all sorts, including one kid being bent over a tombstone, being fucked, told that it would rid him of evil spirits, And this was just the tip of the iceberg. A pedophile iceberg. A real Sodom and Gomorrah. When the cops started doing a little poking around, they realized that the social club, well, it was just down the road from where Lee had gone missing. And a little more down the road from where he lived. And I guess they'd started wondering if he'd ever attended that club. It was in 2013 that Lee would have been 40 years old, and cops put out an appeal to find out if anybody'd ever been a member of the Shed Social Club. And I'm guessing they already figured that it wouldn't have been any of the adults who'd come forward. And sure enough, it was a real popular place, and victim after victim came forward with sordid tales from the Shed. And one name kept coming up, the party planner who'd been throwing those parties since the early 80s and worked as a grave digger in the cemetery. And they believed that Lee Boxall had been a guest at one of those bugger bashes, and for whatever reason, they killed him and then stuck him in the same coffin next to one of the olden days stiffs.
The police work taking place at St. Duggan's is only just visible to parishioners from the front of the church, but most local people know about the investigation.
The only snag in the theory was that the church wouldn't let the cops dig deeper than 6 feet or disturb any of the graves. And any good grave digger knows the deeper, the better. And cadaver dogs, they were useless as a retard with a calculator, because the place was full of stiffs.
I've been piecing myself back together when each of your words slip away, slip away. I thought we would be it, we'd be forever, but after the sun came the rain. I know that I'm the one to blame. You'd given me one too many second chances. I took your heart and I held it captive. I got so twisted in the lies, deception, held too tight, left you second guessing. What's more depressing is I'm self-destructive, so self-destructive, and you get caught in the middle. How am I supposed to love if I can't help myself a little? Destructive, just a little.
All right, y'all, I gotta take this, so give me a minute, okay?
Uh-oh.
Please, thank you.
Well,
You ready to go outside, doggy? My body.
I guess there ain't nothing going on over there right in this moment. Ready? You ready? You ready? Can we get some love? Give me some love.
Bake it.
Give me some love you're thinking about.
I'm baking it. Where's the dumb shit? Silly. Ah!
What?
Big spider behind me.
That's what you said to all the guys, ain't it? Ain't nothing happening over ours.
I don't like you, dog.
Come on, baby. You ready to go back there and watch some porn?
I have to. Oh yeah.
Come on, let's do it.
No.
Nothing to do with butt sex for you? Does that sound like a bunch of shit to you?
Yes. Come on, shithead.
Peace and chicken grease, y'all. Remember, never, ever, ever piss on electric fence. And don't eat yellow snow.